Warhawk Defense here today. Today I want to talk about a shotgun that I picked up here recently. This is a Maverick 88. This is a 20-inch barrel Maverick 88, and I've done a couple of things to it to make it easier for me to shoot, but I didn't have to do anything that was too expensive. This is a great gun. I picked it up at Academy Sports. I'll bring it up a little closer. Academy Sports, $329. No, $229. Take that back. $229. 20-inch. It'll take 8 rounds of 12 gauge. This is a 12 gauge shotgun, and I like it. Now that I've done a few things to it, it fits me very well. So what I have done is, when I first got it, I found that the length of pull was not very good for me. That means from the trigger to the end of the buttstock was too long, because I'm not real tall and I don't have long arms. So right out of the box, this gun was too long for me. So it didn't fit very well. I shot it a couple of times initially to make sure it worked, and I felt like I was a kid holding my dad's gun, because I felt like my arm was way the heck out there, and you know, and I couldn't get it in close. I couldn't get a good cheek weld on it. So what I decided to do was I just cut the buttstock down. So I measured it up, and it's just plastic, you know, it's a plastic buttstock. So I measured it up, measured the length of pull that was good for me, that fit me. I put it, marked it, put a piece of tape, you know, across here, so that I could keep track of where I was cutting. Put it in the vise, took the stock off, put it in the vise, and cut away. And then I smoothed it up with a file, and the holes where the butt pad go in, there's 2 screws that hold the butt pad on. Those thickened parts, they go clear down the inside in here. So even though you cut the initial holes off, I took about an inch and a half off, because when you put the buttstock or the recoil pad back on, it adds a half to an inch depending on how thick it is. So I took that into account. When I put the recoil pad back on, I just took the little drill and did some pilot holes for the screws, and then just put it back exactly how it was before. Now it's perfect size for me. I really didn't have to do anything else to it. I didn't have to, but I decided to add a high-vis front sight, and hopefully you can see that. It's a light gathering front sight, high-vis. So it just had a brass bead right here, but this high-vis front sight, I can see better. And you know, when you get old, that helps a lot. I put a flashlight on it, and the flashlight was just an old flashlight I had kicking around. So I went online and bought this clamp. It just clamps over the tube. Clamped it on. It's just had a little place to attach this light underneath, and I attached the light. It's not a real bright light. It's got one CR123 battery in there, and you just turn it on like this. But it is a light, and it's secured quite well. And again, I think the light I had for years, I don't recall what I paid for it, $35, $40 maybe, and this clamp was, you know, $6 or $7, $8 online. Didn't pay much for the sight either. Can't remember exactly what I paid for that. And then the sling, I put a sling on it. Now this sling, this is a Zahal sling. Zahal is an Israeli company. They make parts for the Israeli army, and I really like these Zahal slings. One, because they're very fat, wide, and they work well, and two, because of the way they fit on the gun. So this Zahal sling here, as you can see, there's two parts to it. So it's got the clip right here, which clips, and then it's got this ring, and it's just got a fabric, a nylon loop that just loops over the front part of your gun. It has a sling, a D-ring here, and then you just clip on the sling to the D-ring. And in the back, the same thing, only this one I just added the typical piece here for a sling. I just had to again drill this, and it didn't come with this piece here for the sling to mount to, but I just drilled it out for a pilot hole, threaded one in, and then I already had this, and now it just clips. As you can see, it just clips together. So it works great, and I really recommend Zahal. I've got them on my ARs, got them on a couple other rifles as well. Zahal, Z-A-H-A-L, Zahal, out of Israel. Like them a lot, and they are adjustable. They've got a Velcro tab here. You can just pull the Velcro tab out and lengthen it out if you want to, but they work great. I like them. But anyway, today we're going to shoot this shotgun, and I've got it set up. I've got a belt that this is just a standard old belt you can buy from Midway USA and put your shot shells in. I did affix a flashlight to it right here in case I have to run around in the dark. I can turn this flashlight on, and it kind of lights out in front of me, lights the area out in front of me, and then if I need to actually shoot, I can turn the light on shotgun itself and spot my targets with the light on the gun. But this light right here will cast the light all around the area, so I'm not stumbling and tripping over things, especially if I have to go outside for some reason in the dark. So, and I just keep it mounted. It's just mounted right here, and it's a 90-degree neck on the flashlight. Works great. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to shoot right now, and I'll show you how it shoots. I got to tell you though, I really like this. The price is right, $225. Little work to cut the buttstock down. Added a couple of things. None of this was expensive. For under $300, I have a really nice shotgun, tactical shotgun, and it'll hold 8 rounds very easily. Got the 20-inch barrel on it. Nice, it's very nice, and the price is definitely right. If you've done any research and looked around on YouTube, you'll find that there's a lot of guys who've tested these, and they have withstood the 500 round test, and they've come out just fine. So I like it. Maverick 88. My son has one. That's where I first got acquainted with it. His is cut down as well, short like this, but they're nice. And if you're wanting to get a home defense or a tactical shotgun, this is the way to go because they're cheap. And the frame is made out of aluminum, so it's a little bit lighter, not as heavy as I also have a Remington 870. That's got a steel frame though, and that is a little heavier. Definitely is heavier. This one's great. I like it. So let's shoot it right now. Let's turn this around and do some shooting. Okay, we're out about personal defense distance, or about the distance that I have inside of my house. You know, you measure from your front door to your back door, or across your house, across your living area, or down your hallway, and this is about that distance right here. So we're going to load up and we're going to shoot at that distance. Now I have just a cheap plastic, or well, it's elastic band on here for some ready rounds, and these are just 7.5 shot. We'll start with those. It's got the right here is the release for the slide, so you can release the slide back, stick one in, send it home. And you just load it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 6 shot bird shot, just for demonstration purpose. We'll pull out a couple of buckshot here. I think I got some #1 buck on the belt here. We'll shoot some of that as well. But this will give you an idea. So here we go. Home defense distance, Maverick 88. Got the camera rolling down there on the target. Now you'll see how this sling really works, because with this sling I have a hand free now. I can grab rounds, I can load, grab rounds out of my belt and load as I need to. I can roll it over, I can roll it back, I can drop one in and load. The sling helps with the manipulation because it gives you a little freedom to move, because it's around my neck holding the gun up. So anyway, here we go. Now we got the camera on, we'll try again. Here's another one. Let's try that on those cans. Let's try that hedge apple on the cans down there. Yeah. All right. Let's try down low. Let's go up high. That's it, we're empty. All right, you do get some rock out of this. It is a shotgun after all, and it is a 12 gauge. So we'll go down and look at the target, see what we got. If you're going to shoot birdshot in the house, because you're worried about over penetration and you're worried about still putting a hurt on somebody, most of that stayed all right here within the silhouette of a person. So if you were to use this inside your house for personal defense and you were using this birdshot, most of that would be right here and it would stay in there. And a person's body is about this width, and it all stayed in there. Now I took one lower shot, one here, I took one up here, which would, you know, be like trying to take a headshot. Again, it's a smaller target area, but again, it's spread out pretty well. You know, it's right in here. Some went out here, looks like some went out the side, but basically a lot of it stayed right there. So if you were trying to take a face shot, we'll take a headshot with some #1 buck here and show how that works. But basically, works fine. So if you're concerned about either birdshot or buckshot, we're going to shoot both here and inside the house distance. Whoever comes in your house, you don't want them there. It's going to make a bad day for them, because that birdshot may not kill them right off, but my guess is, unless they're a crazed killer, hopped up on drugs, they're going to go running out of your house looking for some place else to go, like the hospital. So anyway, let's go back and take a couple more shots. Okay, here we are back. Let's try something else. I've got some number one buck on my belt here, and let's try the number one buck. Number one buck. Number one buck is size-wise right under double-aught buck, and so you're going to get 16 pellets. 16 pellets out of this. You get 8 pellets usually, or 9 maybe, out of double-aught buck. You get 16 out of number one buck. So number one buck is just slightly smaller than double-aught. And these are 2 3/4 shells, and 2 3/4 shells are plenty powerful enough. You don't need to go to 3 or 3.5. That'll just knock you flat. But these are good enough. So let's take a shot. We'll try and take a head shot with this number one buck. See what it does. Okay, here we go. Number one buck, headshot. Oh, didn't have both my ears in. Oh boy, that's what happens when you get old. I thought that was a little loud. Alright, number one buck. We'll try it in the head. Ah, there we go. Now the buckshot does have a lot more kick to it. A lot more kick to it. Even though it's 2 3/4, the buck will kick more. So let's go down and take a look at that. That's why you might want to think about, do I use buckshot or do I use birdshot? Because if you're in your house or somebody who's not doesn't shoot a lot of shotgun, you may want to think about it, because the buckshot will give you a lot more recoil and it will be very startling, whereas birdshot will not give you so much of a recoil. But on the other hand, it's not as devastating either. So let's go down and take a look. Okay, we got 2 loads of number one buck aimed right here, shot twice, and it looks to me like the highest pellet went here, there, down in here. Now some of these holes in here were 22 caliber holes, because I was shooting 22 previously. These number one buck are probably around 30 caliber or so. They're smaller than a double-aught, but they're still big enough that they will do some serious damage, especially if you shoot in a concentrated area at a 7 to 10 yards. You can see that they really don't. It really doesn't spread too much. It stayed right here in the head area, and I don't think any of them strayed off the target. So what we're seeing here, and these big holes are wads. That's where the plastic cups and the wads go through. But what we're seeing here is this number one buck is not a bad thing, because look, it's spread out pretty good over the course of this area right here. And if this were a real target you were shooting at, it would have been very incapacitating. So the bird shot covered very well down in here. The number one buck right in here. And with number one buck, you get 16 pellets instead of the 8 or 9 you get in the double-aught. So I kind of think number one's maybe the way to go. It's a little harder to find, and if you can find number one, I would buy some and maybe hoard it up a little. But number one buck works pretty good. So here's the gun. Set it up right here. We'll get a close-up. Maverick 88. I cut 1.5 inches or so off the buttstock to make it fit me, but the rest of it is stock pretty much, other than the fact that I put that bead on there, that high-vis light gathering front sight put on there. And then of course you need some kind of a sling. This one's a Hall. This is a Hall sling. So, and you can see the way it attaches right there. That's what I like. You buy the keepers separately and then you buy the sling. There's the light. There's how the light attaches. So I like it. Maverick 88, and you can see up close, that's what you get up close and personal, or at least inside the house distance. And you can see I don't believe we lost any of them off the target. And then behind it, all the bird shot made a pretty big impression. That was number 6 shot. So anyway, I like this gun. I definitely recommend it. I think if you go out on the internet and you look at some other videos that other people have put up, you'll find it is a very decent gun. $229 Academy Sports. I thought it was a good deal. Didn't cost me much to add a few things to it. If you don't mind having to modify it, if you're real tall with long arms, you may not have to modify it, but I did. Anyway, I like it. I recommend it. See you later.